Hello. Welcome to the Clutterfly Effect Podcast with Julie.
I'm Greg.
I'm Norm.
Hey, we're the Peters Clan, and this podcast is based on the Amazon #1 bestseller, The Clutterfly Effect, Tweak Your Way to Total Transformation by Decluttering Your Life, that I wrote with my mom, Christine Marie. And so we're talking about clutter. And the reason we're talking about clutter is because clutter has a way of being insipid and just kind of like encroaching on all parts of our lives. And what we want is freshness, newness, space to create. And the clutter really represents the old, the crap, old energy. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it, right?
Yes, we do.
Because here we are. There's no way we can't giggle. We can't laugh. And so we're not going to take clutter so seriously on this podcast.
Well, any conversation we have tends to end up being funny and giggling.
Yes.
So it's as a family. So
yes.
Past history would predict our next hour here. We'll have a few laughs.
Yes.
We're here to destroy history.
Oh,
God,
that's
yeah.
right. Dad's all about that.
We just said he's a white old male. He's going to write his own history.
Yeah.
Destroy the history we know and
That's right.
write his own.
That's right. So, Dad, last week you had, you're now into your second week of knee surgery. I mean, you had it. You're recovering. Last night we went to the emergency room.
Yes.
Because at the suggestion of your physical therapist, because he just said, I don't like how your leg's looking.
Yes.
Could be a blood clot, could be an infection, because you don't have a fever, but I'm just concerned.
Okay.
So how'd you feel?
Well, I felt like it was hurting more.
Yeah.
And it's been over a week now. It was hurting more.
Yeah.
Than it did. I thought, well, that's a little odd, and I just went with it. But then when he came and said, hey, it doesn't look right. We better get a check on. Plus, I was weaker, and I couldn't hardly move my leg.
Yeah.
And then he goes, we better just get it checked out on the safe side. So
Yeah.
I went, got it checked out.
Yeah.
And they said, I have no blood clot.
Yeah.
And sent me home with great advice. Raise your leg higher.
Yeah.
And I iced the shit out of it.
Yes. I think that was exactly what the nurse said.
I all I heard was ISIS.
ISIS.
Ice.
Oh, yeah.
Ice the shit out of it.
Okay, anyway, yes, ice the shit out of it.
Yeah.
The shit out of
And I
it.
think they use your polar bear ice machine or whatever
Oh,
it's
nice.
called.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. It's so interesting though. So they have a nurse. I'm not being judgy because this is a positive judge. I'm judging her, but in a positive way. Is that possible?
Sure.
Sure.
She is. So once in a while, when you live in the Midwest and you live in a small town, you're like an 8 or a 9 in the Midwest, if I'm like cuteness,
Okay.
it's probably like a 7 in LA, right?
Okay.
So this girl is though a 10, but a 10 for her. I mean, like you can tell she's a nurse practitioner. This is an emergency room nurse practitioner. Now I've had her twice, one for you and one for Mom.
Oh.
And
All right.
I've had her twice. We've had her twice.
You're bragging.
Yes.
Getting numbers up there.
No, but she was your intake person twice, one for you, one for Mom. But the weird part is each time, like I wouldn't doubt that she's had her scrubs tailored for her body because they fit her perfectly. She's got perfect glasses on. Her hair is perfectly highlighted. She has no wrinkles in her forehead. I mean, she looks so beautiful. I'm not saying and I don't even know if she's beautiful, like in reality, like she couldn't be a model, but everything she has is completely plussed. Her nails are perfect. Okay. Everything's perfect. And deep down, I'm like, I am really, really jealous. But on the other hand, I am cluttered with so many anti-wrinkle creams in my drawers.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I can't achieve, my nature is not to be her. Even though when I see someone like her, I'm like, you go. You go.
You go, girl.
You go, girl. You're glowing.
Yeah.
Everything about you is literally to the 10s. And I'm like, I just don't even know what to say. I was impressed.
Well, as far as her clothes go, it's quite possible she was exactly average. And so she could go buy off the rack and have them just fit her appropriately.
Well, I want to say one thing. Now, the girls who are listening will understand this comment. She had a Kardashian body, which means
big booty.
a big booty and space between the thighs, which is amazing.
What?
I didn't notice that. No.
No, guys don't notice that stuff. Girls notice that stuff. Okay, and that's okay because it's
daylight. Guys don't look at the daylight.
Well, no, it's just you're going because it defies reality that you would have because typically women have a little fat between the legs if you got a little fat in the butt, But so I'm like, I don't know how it works, but I just was in awe with her. I'm like, she was inspirational to me because here she is, like you said, she could have just been completely average everywhere. Everything fits her perfectly, and maybe, but I've seen her twice now.
Brown hair with highlights.
Yeah, everything, but her highlights were a good job.
And yes, and had whatever was the appropriate glasses for being in style.
Yes, everything was perfect about
it.
Yeah. So
you could tell she did care a lot about her style.
Yes,
and you could tell
for scrubs,
For scrubs, for people come in scrubs, you can tell they don't care.
Her hair clip matched her scrubs.
Oh, really?
It was salmon color. It was just everything was perfect. Okay, so anyway, but it kind of led me to some clutter that Gregory was mentioning today because Gregory, you mentioned today something about clutter and your diet and your thoughts. Can you bring that up a little bit? Do you remember?
Well, my thoughts about clutter is sometimes you need to learn how to declutter, but you learn by first it's in your consciousness, and then it has to get to your subconsciousness. So it's kind of like you have to think about it. You have to spend time thinking about decluttering your house, doing the process. Eventually, it will get into your subconscious where you are just doing it without even thinking about it.
Yeah. See, you talked to me today about this, and you're like, I want to talk about this in the podcast, and I want to deconstruct what you thought. Okay. Because, in the book, and we talk about the habits, and sometimes we have to declutter our habits. And sometimes we got to declutter our thoughts, but when we are just now starting to get new thoughts about having our food be healthier or less cluttered, our diets be less cluttered, it takes a long time before that gets internalized and before it comes natural. Dad, when you went to the hospital, you and I, we haven't gone out for food in like over a week, maybe a week and a half. And it was a conscious decision on our part. We're like, we're giving it up. We're going Lent early, everybody. Lent early. And I brought my water bottles because when we went to Texas, we came home and we opened up our van door and like literally plastic water bottles are falling out. And you said, this just makes me sick. I am disgusted with myself because you don't know. You're just having one water bottle at a time, right? Your front seat's fine. The dogs are in the back, and so you just toss the water bottle in the back. And back in the day, every '70s movie, it was like kind of scene where the drunk in town would pull up in his pickup truck and open the door, and beer bottles and beer cans would fall out. Now
that was true.
That was true. Mm-hmm. And now it's the water bottles,
especially in Texas.
Oh, exactly.
I loved it in Texas. Back of the pickup truck filled with beer cans, and then a shotgun in the back window. Yeah. So we got drunks riding around with loaded guns.
At least like glass and aluminum cans are recyclable. Like plastic bottles, who knows? I'm not even sure. And how dare
nobody tries.
We got the kids keep grabbing plastic bottles at home. And I'm like, don't! That's for the guests.
That's for the guests.
That's for the guests. Emergency. Go get a glass of water.
And so,
but yet, and you wonder, does it all do any matter? I mean, when you've got coal increasing in production all over the world,
right?
And you go, whoa, how do you get a handle on all this?
Well, and I think it is go back to the day when we go. Think globally, act locally.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, it's not about saving the world. It really isn't. No. It's about saving your spirit, saving your energy, saving you.
Like in the airplane. When the air thing, you got to save yourself before you can save everybody else.
And as we are trying to create new and exciting things in our lives, and because we're focusing on clutter, we see it so quickly.
Yeah.
True.
And so I wanted to go out. Yesterday, you go, Julie, I need some fresh water bottles. I mean, we're using the same ones over and over again. Can I get a Stanley? And I'm like, okay, I'll get you a Stanley. And because we've been all into the Stanleys.
They don't fit in your car, your water hole.
Well, and they don't. They're not sold at Walmart. And so I saved us a bunch of money.
Okay, good.
And of course, we're not in with the in crowd, but
No,
that's okay.
but I got it. It's a strawed,
Good choice, Julie.
it
I
fits
see
in the
that.
thing, and then I bought. So you got one, I got one, and then I bought 2 of the 64-ouncer ones so that we can fill those up and then refill our smaller ones, because the biggest complaint about these things are they don't fit in the car cup holders.
Yeah.
So I solved that problem.
My kids bring them, and they just leave them on the seat. I'm like they're gonna fall over, and they complain that they leak water.
Yeah.
And they still bring it. They put the whole thing in their backpack. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then they like get my
Leaks.
daughter was like freaking out one day. I left the water bottle by Stanley's filled in my backpack, and all my school books are wet.
yeah.
And so all of a sudden, something that became so good and great
Yeah.
They still
ruins
use it,
everything.
though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they won't
Yeah.
give it up.
Can I go back for a second to something Greg said that I thought was very, very profound when he said, "Yeah,
What?
Greg, yeah,
Yeah.
Go on.
He
Dad, I
started
wanna hear
talking
this.
about thinking about the clutter
Ooh,
Yeah.
and to get ready for the clutter. It made you happy. It's sort of like thinking about a trip is the best part of having
Yeah.
the trip.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And so you actually got happy before you got rid of the clutter. There's something there
Yeah.
about preparing.
Preparing to get rid of the clutter. You feel it, and
Yeah.
you get happier.
Yeah.
I just
ready to be ready.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're ready, and it's in your subconscious and so forth, and you're good to go.
and that's kind of a happy spot.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to say. I just
No, I think that's perfect. Oh God, what's that one podcaster? I used to love him. I just haven't listened to him in years. Not years. I want to listen to him once in a while. Tim
Ferriss?
Ferriss, thank you. He's not on my radar anymore. I think because I'm not in the
Well,
truck.
we're already optimized.
Yes.
Human optimization. And I mean, I say that kind of just and funny, but I mean,
right.
it was it was cool, and it's still cool back
Yeah.
then. I mean, but like when he first farted,
When he first farted.
when he first started to do that,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was doing human
Right.
optimization.
Yeah.
So.
Now everybody's hacking everything.
yeah.
And I'm kind of cluttered with the stuff,
Yeah.
cluttered with options.
Yeah.
I really am.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta
I'm no longer
obviously, I'm not
optimized.
going to be optimized.
Yeah.
All right. But you know what? I can.
Or you have to keep optimizing to stay where you're at. Otherwise, you start falling behind on optimization.
Yeah.
So,
And at some point, you got to go, like Abraham Hicks. You're never done.
Yeah.
We're never done growing. We're never done creating, and we're never done decluttering. Because if you think you're done decluttering, all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, I got food in my refrigerator I need to get rid of.
Well, I was thinking of this funny story
Yeah.
about having clutter and stuff.
Yeah.
We were in Puerto Rico
Yeah.
at a gift shop and
Yeah.
trying to find something to buy. And there was another family, and the wife was trying to find something to buy, and the husband's like, oh, it's going to just go in the trash. Why are we buying this? It's gonna be in our house for 2 years, and then I have to throw it away. Can we just not buy it?
oh my God, that's
I
great.
really felt for him.
You felt for him, yes.
Yeah,
'cause that's just how you feel.
We'll buy like a
you think-
cookbook or
yeah.
a history book, or I don't mind the magnets in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Because the magnets work.
Yeah.
Even whatever. But
It's a small thing. You put it on, I'm like, good to go.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that triggered that thought. Whatever you
No,
said.
it's perfect though, because I've in some ways you want to support local economies,
Right.
And you're just like, maybe instead of having a tip jar saying, I don't know, instead of buying my crap, just give me $10.
Oh yeah. Like,
That'd be
either buy
beautiful.
something or just give me. Just
Please, you don't have
Please,
to clutter your house up.
I'm-
Just give me
yeah,
$10.
Yeah, please just
To
exactly.
support the local economy.
I've got kids in the
appreciated.
family.
or like yeah. I don't know if you're going to like Europe.
Yeah.
Like, give me $10. I'll give you €5.
Okay. Then you're like, oh no, that seems like a kind of an interesting trade.
Because when you get home, you won't want to spend the euros.
Yeah.
You're like, I got euros.
Yeah.
And you're like, we have euros in our piggy bank that we're just looking at. Like,
Yeah.
oh, cool.
Got some euros.
Are you gonna take it back to Europe?
Whenever we go back to Europe, we'll take.
I remember when I was, this is my first trip to Canada. I had cash, and I had been so prepared because I'm like, just in case, and I had all these Canadian dollars, and on the plane I had like I don't know. I don't know what I had left over, but it felt like a lot. I just gave it to the stewardess. I go, I want to go home. Just here you go. And she goes, do you want something in return? I go, not really.
She was probably like, I live in Detroit. I don't know what.
Do you want
what
this?
am I going to do with
I go, I
with
go,
these
I don't think it's a
Canadian
lot
dollars?
here. I think it's under 10, 15 bucks. She goes, yeah, it's under 10, 15 bucks. I'm like, great, just take it.
You could probably just go to your bank and they.
I
give
know.
You...
I could have just gone to my bank, but at that moment, I felt generous, and I also felt like I am done with this trip. I don't want.
I'm done with Canada. The mountains, the beauty, the fresh air.
I'm fucking done with Canada.
I'm done with it.
Au revoir, the Canadian Rockies.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm done with them.
Yeah.
It's all very pretty. Not as pretty as American Rockies. I get you.
I've been looking at it all week, and it doesn't look new to me anymore.
I wanted to see one thing. I wanted to see a bear in the wild, and I didn't. So screw you, Canadian Rockies.
Did you get on a what do you call those big ice sheets that go down the
No.
Glacier?
glacier?
I was on Glacier, yeah.
Glacier.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was kind of cute because there was a Japanese tour there as well. A lot of tours, of course.
Sure.
But it was so cute because Japanese at that time they were doing like pre-selfies, so they were all like mimicking like, oh, it's so cold out here.
Yeah.
It's the middle of summer. It was like 65 degrees,
Yeah.
and we're all feeling kind of nice. We're like, ooh, we're on the ice
Yeah.
and glacier. You know, they were all acting out cute stuff, and it
Aw.
was kind of sweet.
Cute. That's
I don't know.
very
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. It was just kind of fun. That's what I remember. The group that I was with, they were all Californians and a lot of tech people, to be honest with you. I just but before tech was cool, this was way back when, and it was fine. It was a good trip. I also just felt not. I don't know. I like to travel by myself sometimes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do or you don't like to travel by
I do
yourself?
like to travel. Well, I mean, I don't do a lot of traveling anymore.
Yeah.
But
was
the
this,
it was a
was
group.
this the one where everybody was nude?
No,
in
I
Canada?
didn't mind. No, that was California. Everybody was in California, and that was fun. I just zoned out. I'm like, when in California, everyone stays in California. But we had to learn we all learned a trade.
In California?
Massage therapy.
Dude, what trade is this?
Massage therapy. But you had to be, if you weren't giving the massage,
Wink,
you had to be
wink,
getting a
massage
massage.
therapy.
No,
If you weren't giving a massage, you were getting a massage.
Yes.
And the
Okay.
reason is because it was just easier than having to take your clothes off and put them back on again.
No, you have your clothes on when you're giving the massage. It wasn't
yeah.
that kind of a massage. But it was a hippie place of doing it. So
But when you
clothing
went
was
swimming,
optional.
you did have...
Well, this is mom's problem, too. This is mom's fault. This whole experience of the...
Mom set you up for this.
She did. And she
I know.
says, Julie, clothing's optional, which means, you can always opt to wear clothes. I'm like, oh, good. No one's opting to wear clothes.
No one was.
No,
Yeah.
I just had to, go to my safe place. Just this is just experience. Nobody knows me here. Just do it. Nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I
Yeah.
did it.
No, you
and-
did it.
yeah.
Jewel, I'm proud of you. That's amazing. I'm like,
That's an
super
important skill,
cool.
an important
Skill?
skill to have.
What skill's that, Dad?
not giving a
No.
crap. Yeah.
Yes.
Something
I mean,
about...
there's so many times you have to do that in life.
Get naked?
Get naked and also give up that.
Yes. Give up any resistance to being who you
who you are,
Or you get modesty, or just I gotta fight that demon. I gotta fight that dragon. Do it.
It's a good, all kinds of things. Just going to the dentist.
Well,
not
yeah.
that you go to a new dentist, but I mean,
Sometimes they ask you to get undressed.
you
Yeah.
have to just
Yeah.
give up something.
Yes.
To get through the episode,
You do.
You have
That's
to
exactly
remove
right.
yourself from
Yes.
that location. I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, look! When I remember way back in the day when I got my vasectomy,
Yes.
and I'm sitting there and they're freezing. I'm looking, and there's 3 young girls there,
Yeah.
watching me. I'm going, I really,
and you were in your 20s.
I'm in my 20s,
Like 22
no,
probably. When
No.
you got your
I think
vasectomy.
I might be into my 30s. Maybe.
How is that
No,
possible?
late 20s.
Yeah.
late 20s.
No, because we've always known you of having a vasectomy.
Yeah.
So-
but I remember very.
He just told it. That was his line. I got a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
10 years later, maybe I should get that vasectomy.
I've been telling you about
keep
it.
bragging about it.
Yeah.
Well, I did feel very weird. That was one of the first times. But I remember it must have been a strong moment because I remember thinking, I wanted the vasectomy. I'm okay with getting a vasectomy. And then I'm lying there on the table, and I'm looking up,
And the
and
nurses
they're
are there.
freezing me, and I'm
Ooh.
just seeing these 3 girls start to talk to each other and shoot
Yeah.
the shit
Yeah.
over me, and
Yeah.
I'm going, God, I just, I removed myself from
Yes.
that situation.
You checked out. You're
I
like,
checked
I'm going
out.
to go out to my happy spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mind. I get you. That's good, Dad.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's just times you just got to get it done and you got to go, you got to check out.
It's almost as if my consciousness was leaving my body at that
I think
moment. so that
something
my-
was leaving your body. I don't know.
Yeah, something else was. But I had to leave my body to let whatever happened happen.
Yeah.
I left my
Yeah.
body for a while.
Yeah.
And then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we shall never speak of that again, I told the girls.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't have been, they had to be at least 22, right?
They were older than me. They probably. They had to
Probably.
be.
They have.
Yeah,
but at
my
that time,
age or
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
which
so
is
they were
even,
older.
yeah. But at
Yeah.
that time, you're just like, they were youngish and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
The
Yeah.
doctor was probably like, "Hey, would one of you guys come in to whatever?" And they were like, "I think all 3 of us are gonna come in.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna need 3." I think Dad went in there going, "Doctor,
We
you're
have
gonna need help with this." I think
3
you're
women
gonna
shaving.
need 3, at
Yeah.
least 3 more hands. Or
Exactly.
But it's the same thing. It seems like how often do I have to go to the hot doctor? And they say, "Do you mind if a student watches?"
Jesus.
And every time you're like, you drop your
Like,
head
go.
into your pot, and you're like,
Okay.
What
Okay.
what is they a student of?
Oh,
Economics.
my God!
You have a very economical penis. Dad.
I should ask that question.
yeah, what's his degree in? What's his
This
degree in?
isn't high school physics. What?
Exactly. Well, she's just being a CNA. She's like, I don't know if CNAs are going to do a prostate exam, so let's not do that.
I don't know. I think they do.
Not CNAs. I hope not.
Oh no, that's a certified nurse's assistant.
Yes.
Hopefully, get a little more training than no training.
Yeah, exactly. Or just they're not. But I don't know because
How much training do CNAs get?
a year
Enough.
enough to do
Enough
what
to. I don't know what they do.
they're the ones that get.
Take care of all your vitals and all the first stuff.
Yes, and they care for you, and
Yeah.
the nurses come in and like observe and make sure the CNAs are doing what they're supposed to do. I don't know. It's
The
all a
nurses
thing.
give the shots then, right? Or do CNAs
Yeah.
give the shots?
They don't give shots. I don't think they give medicines either. Meds.
Who draws the blood?
A phlebotomist.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes
It really takes a village to get through this.
They
It's
do.
incredible.
Yes.
And thank God.
It all works out. It all works out.
out.
But Gregory was also talking about how he noticed that he was dreaming in French.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, and it brought me
So,
this idea
yeah.
of having things get to your
Got to
subconscious
get to your
mind.
subconscious.
And like you and I have said, we're giving up eating out because we've got all our families got some traveling goals. And you know what the truth is, it's just nicer when you're just a little bit thinner to travel.
Yeah.
Because one thing
Yes.
is you're probably gonna put a little weight on when you travel.
Oh no! Yes.
So
Yes.
when
you have all you can eat access, you're like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, get our pizza
again, I'm gonna make this cruise cost something.
Yeah.
So we're just really trying to do our best, and also clearing the clutter. But for the last 6 weeks, you and I have made a very we made a very big effort clearing the clutter of our kitchen and our food pantry and so forth because our cabinets were bursting at the seams. Mom loved having a well-stocked kitchen, and to the point of and she loved shopping at Walmart to go, and all that stuff. And so we had a well-stocked kitchen.
We had a well-stocked kitchen.
And no, but at some point I'm opening the cabinets and things are falling out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do I need to have this? And so we literally took I'm not joking. We went and we took a whole grocery cart of food to our food bank.
Yeah.
They're very appreciative.
Yeah.
And I think we tell ourselves interesting things about having a well-stocked kitchen. Mm-hmm. One is what if food's not available next week? When has food never been available? In the 50 years that I've been alive, 50 plus, it's always been available.
And I got a bucket of food in the basement that's going to last 100 years.
Yes, 20,
Right.
which
or
is
20,
fine.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I bought it. It's gonna be outdated before very long.
And so I'm really into this idea of I'm cool having a bucket or two of food down there in
Yeah.
case we have end times or things get weird, and I can put the rest of it out of my mind. We had a very well-stocked freezer, except the problem is vegetables nowadays, because they can steam in bags. If you don't steam them soon, they get freezer burn soon.
Yeah.
And so that's what you said. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot
That's
of
why
vegetables.
I was thinking, I forgot I said that.
Yeah, I know you looked at me puzzled, like, what? That's how it is.
That makes sense, Julie. That's pretty smart.
You told me that. And so we've been really trying to get our freezer clean. If if the vegetables are one pile of ice and look wilted, I'm like, well, the deer are gonna love that.
That's interesting because when you have a full freezer, you can't find anything you want.
Right.
And so you literally are just taking the stuff on the front.
In the front.
And so you're perpetually,
Yeah.
So you really don't have a stocked freezer. You got a big ice cube.
The stuff you love is on the top.
Yeah.
You never go below that.
No.
You're
No.
like, I'm out of corn dogs. I got to get more corn dogs.
You got eight packages down there in the bottom somewhere.
But it's interesting because we are trying to very much clean our diet up as well. So I don't want to snack. So I literally have a house void of snack and sugar. Otherwise, it would be in my mind. My habits always go to, I got a little sweet tooth right now. I'll make some brownies.
Yeah.
Or I got some Aldi chips. I'm gonna have some chips. But if it's not there, that time goes away, and hopefully, eventually, my brain will be programmed that's who
true.
that's my new identity. That's my new personality.
Right.
And I gotta tell you one more thing. When it was kind of cute, your physical therapist was here yesterday, and he stayed until I came home to get to the hospital. And we came in got Dad in the car, and I go, thank you so much, sir. I just got to put a few groceries away because I went grocery shopping, and he goes, oh, I'll help you. And it was so nice because I wasn't embarrassed.
Oh,
Sometimes I would have been embarrassed, like, there's some real fun stuff. Sometimes kid stuff in my stuff.
Yeah.
Double dip Oreos. I don't know. There could have been something, but there was nothing. It was,
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, it could have been that. Could have been.
Wow, that was good stuff.
Yeah, and so I felt, I had the organic eggs and I had organic cheese. Yeah, I had all good stuff, and I'm like, oh, this was nice. And he's like, oh, didn't comment. Good, but I didn't feel. I felt good. It was like, okay, this happened and so forth. Mom used to say that sometimes when your house is so full of clutter, it's like a do not disturb sign on your door because you don't want anybody just dropping by. You don't want anything new coming because and it's so true because I wanted our car clean because sometimes you never know who's going to hop into your car. And yesterday, I was not embarrassed. I felt energetically that guy came in, helped you in, and the car was clean. The dogs were in the back. Everything looked like we care for ourselves. And we had new energy, and I felt good.
You felt good about it.
I felt good.
Well, and not going to fast food is a very good way to keep your car clean.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's
and
incredible.
no water bottles, too. Those two
water
things.
bottles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I love my iced teas from McDonald's. And I would get it at least once a day, and then McDonald's will give you on the app.
They're $1 though, right?
They're $1.75 now.
$1.75.
Yes,
I know.
But on the app, hey,
like
Julie, you're such a great customer of McDonald's. You spend $2, we'll give you a free McChicken.
Whoa!
And I'm like, there's nothing for $2 at McDonald's. No. It's $1.75, or I'm gonna buy something else. So. Yeah. But so I'm giving it up completely for right now, and until I become a different person. When I knew somebody who was 70 years old and had never gone to McDonald's her whole life, had never eaten fast food. It just wasn't in her personality or her consciousness. Never thought about it.
Yeah.
And this woman also had she was on the wealthier side. She had a maid, she had a chef, but she's like, I don't think I've ever been to a McDonald's or a Burger King.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Now she's just bragging.
She's just bragging.
Yeah.
My chef, makes me all this food. I
asked for a burger, and she did. I got this, and I'm like, oh, honey, just want to let you know, your chef ran out to McDonald's and got you a burger.
Yeah.
You just didn't know. No, that would be kind of funny. But I want to say one thing about decluttering your kitchen, because I think that would be a great goal for people.
Oh, I have
go ahead.
I have a little trick.
Oh, okay,
But
good.
you say what you want.
don't get hung up on it looking perfect. It has to look like you. You know, I bought 4 or 5 of these little containers that I can put like my spices in. They fit in my cupboard. Is it designed for spices? Do I have a perfect spice rack? No, I don't need a perfect spice rack. I have this. This works for me. Do what works for you. You don't have to go out and spend $100 on a whole design. Be you. And you know what? As long as you can open your cupboard, see what you like, feel good about it, know that thing you're not buying stuff that's going to expire. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's an effing win. And you don't have to hoard food because you're afraid of something's going on. And if you feel that fear, buy a bucket of food. You know, keep it. It's so compact. Keep it in the basement. It'll stay dry and good, and you're covered. And now you can live in the present moment. Clear. What's your hack, Greg?
Oh, I mean, if you got deep drawers and stuff and deep cabinets, just put your stuff in a tray. You have a clear tray. You pull the whole thing out. Put it back in there.
Oh,
A tray.
Very
Like a little plastic tub.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Stuff's on the very top of like our top thing.
Yes.
Put that out. Put
Yeah.
it down.
I mean, don't put like heavy stuff on there.
Yeah.
Just, pull it up. Boom, boom.
Perfect.
Put it back in there.
Perfect.
You know, that's interesting. That's a good hack because I was just thinking about that. And I thought mine is a lot more complicated.
What?
They should have some kind of a shelf that's on arms that you can come out and comes back and faces you, and then you push a button and it goes back up in there.
Nice.
That's a little more complicated.
A little more might have a little more money involved.
Yeah, I'll say. And what if it goes broken when it's on the downside? Who do you call?
Yeah.
Picture, I can't get my food back on my cupboard.
And that's stuck. I know. I mean, there are some, like, I have this recliner that it's stuck mid-raise because it's electronic. And it's like stuck mid-raise. I can't get in it. I can't get out of it. It's like, horrible. What am I going to do about it?
I think that one you're going to throw away.
It's such a nice recliner, though.
It's a nice recliner. It's kind of expensive.
Well,
Is
there any way, like...
I can get it fixed, but maybe you can look at it today.
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Greg, yes, Julie, it's half
wow,
out.
it's half open. You know what? Think about it as half fully open.
Yeah, is it?
It's half open, kiddo.
Yeah, it's not half closed.
Yeah.
It's half open.
It's half open.
That's good. Sometimes you like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you like it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. Sometimes I like it like that. That's good. You know. So yeah. So everybody out there today, take one cabinet, treat yourself right, have the intention of cleaning it up. Get a piece of clutter, and join us next week on our next podcast on the Clutterfly Effect. So, was it great?
It's great.
It was great.
It was great.